Hello and welcome to Paint to Punchlines, the holiday season. Those of you who are joining in for us right at the beginning, it will either be Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. I am Paula Jane Newman, the founder of Aware Meditation Inc. and Rise Up Comedy, and we are bringing you some laughter for healing. If you are stressed out, dealing with your family, if you can't stand the commercialism, or even if you don't celebrate this holiday that the rest of the world seems to be non-stop commercialism, welcome. And even if you came here without that, welcome to our comedy shows, Paint to Punchlines. We're here to help you relieve some of the stress. We have some fantastic comedians, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channels because we are a nonprofit and we'd love your support. Here, I am located in the Northern Hemisphere, not from England, which might be part of the accent that you hear, but in California. And let me tell you, it took me a while to understand that the holiday season could occur when it's sunny, because I grew up with only 2 weeks of summer. And usually you carried your umbrella just in case. No, not in case it rained, but in case you might get burnt from being in the sun. I believe I created sunblock 175 because anything less doesn't work. Leave me outside in the sun for more than 10 minutes in California. Whatever you do, don't take me to Red Lobster for dinner because you'll mistake me for the main course. Last year, I will admit that I gained a lot of weight during the holiday seasons. And I say seasons because that's how long it went. And it was quite embarrassing when I looked down on the scale and saw that I had gained 20 pounds. Because that was the day before Thanksgiving. This year, I decided to take action beforehand, and I have been doing Polynesian dance, specifically the dances from the island of Tahiti.
Wow.
Yes, it is moving to the left, moving to the right, smiling, and a lot of lower body work. I want you to know I thought this was a wonderful idea until about 5 minutes in when my thighs and quads were on fire. I then began to question my life choices. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to learn to move like a crab? Then when I'm in the class, I'm the eldest. What you don't want to hear when I have to take a break, because on my Fitbit, my heart rate is reading 183. And I need to sit for a moment because we're not breaking for recovery. The teacher finally asks, Paula, are you all right? Yes, I'm just recovering and taking care of myself. What you don't want to hear is from a 20-year-old at the end of the room, I love that for you. But now I take the classes on Zoom.
Yeah.
But I love the teacher. The teacher is very positive and goes around to every box and tells them how they've been doing this class. Taylor, you're killing it. Oh my God, Sarah, you are awesome. Paula, you're really improving. And that's my experience of doing dance on Zoom. We are going to have far more energetic dance today, but it's going to be with words and laughter. All of our comedians are in the mental health space. We are so lucky today to have these talented individuals come here. And the first person who's coming to the stage is based in the Los Angeles area. They have their own nonprofit called Uprising Yoga, but please don't be fooled by the yoga ideas you might have. This comedy could get a little saucy. So please welcome to the stage, Jill SoChill.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. And thank you so much for having me, Paula. Oh my gosh, I taught yoga on Zoom once, and it turned out to be the Nike Corporation rooftop, and I couldn't see anybody. And I don't teach online any longer. I hope anybody didn't fall off that building. That's been some of my experience. But I'm a terrible driver in Los Angeles. It's lots of traffic, and I am in such a hurry, to find peace. I just get off of my spiritual path. Everybody's in my way, and I'm super impatient. I have stuff to ignore. You know, that's what meditation's going to give me, right? It's the holidays. I'm not ignoring those cookies either or the scale, but trying to. But, like there's always something to celebrate, right? Like I think there's that book, like Let Them, Mel Robbins, the life coach that says, let them know, let me. But I was just wondering, like, from that book, let me survive the holidays without a felony. The rage to get even to a yoga class. That's why I'm driving so fast is, just everybody in my way. But does anybody here do yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. What were you arrested for?
Everything.
Seriously, peeping, jaywalking, like, just me, huh? Reckless driving. You know, I had a little drinking, drugging, living problem back in the day, but, last month I turned 24 years sober.
Woo!
Thank you so much. My husband said, congratulations. You want to think about getting a job now? What about Jill SoChill? That's a job, right? Like to teach people how to chill out because I was sentenced to yoga for anger management, court ordered to relax. So I got intrigued. I said, I'll try yoga. Okay, it's music, soft lighting, blankets, and a safe place to scream. No, my yoga was that hot yoga, the smelly inferno hell, like when you're slipping and sliding in strangers' puddles of sweat, like at a bathhouse. Oh, I saw he's laughing a little too hard there, you know. But so I've been pretending to apply for these jobs, just scrolling along, and they say, do what you love and the money will follow. I'll tell you what I love. I love forest bathing. That's tree hugging. Lying on the couch with cuddling with my dog, watching Netflix and eating ice cream. You know how much that pays? I've made zero, you know. And I have expenses. I'm a new blonde. Yeah, I can't go back to jail. Now they throw wet bologna. Back when they used to feed you, they threw wet bologna sandwiches in greasy Ziploc bags, and it's freezing in jail. You have to cuddle up and hug up with somebody to stay warm, and they call that partner yoga. They leave, you got to find a new one. And jobs these days, like they actually want you to go in. And I want to stay home in my pajamas. I saw my dog the other day lying on the couch. He's like splayed out, like just completely relaxed. And it was his birthday. I said, congratulations. You want to think about getting a job now? But I was really proud of him. I got him a job. He was so excited. Bon Bon was dressed up in his little suit and his tie, his tail's wagging. He's ready to go to the old folks' home. And I was in my pajamas, and it killed me to tell him that I didn't pass the background check. Oh, gosh. I'm even dressed like I'm in the old folks' home with, shuffleboard chic and orthopedic sexy and Bon, get back on the couch. Let's cuddle. Like, where's the Haagen-Dazs? And he looked so sad. He was just like, you know, just I told my friend he's depressed, and she said, he's a Pekingese. That's how they look. But anyway, we just stared at each other, decided to start a new career with emotional support and dairy. We just started making our own ice cream. But, you know, I hate yoga. I hate yoga. I hate everything about it. I hate the mats. I hate the postures. I hate the people expecting me to know what I'm doing because I'm the yoga teacher. And here in America, approximately 39 million Americans, they'll practice yoga for the first time. And the first 12 months, and those poor suckers, that's when they get me. Jill SoChill turns into a Jill Sargent. You remember that hot yoga is the one I teach, So I said spine straight, sit up, what is that? You don't even know how to breathe. Yeah, I just circle them with a hawk eye, see if they make any mistakes, clearly traumatizing my students, sending them back to their therapist. And they're just like, forget this. I'm going back on meds. I'm doing good for the pharmaceutical companies here. But, I got a 1 Yelp star. Oh, really, Vicky? She said, I came for the calm and I left with PTSD. So, you know, but a better posture, Vicky, But I gotta say, a lot of cool things happened in yoga. I met my husband. Hmm. Yeah, he was hot for teacher. We've been married for 13 years.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone asked me what's the secret. And we do everything naked. Highly recommend. My neighbors hate it, especially on trash day. But, we do trauma-informed yoga to kids in jail and adults. And one said to me, she can't even do it when I was struggling in a posture. And I said, hey, listen, I'm a survivor. I fell off of 3 2-story buildings. What's your excuse? The first building wasn't good enough. I didn't even save the cat. He landed on his feet, and I invented splat pose, you know. But third time's a charm. I broke my back. I wasn't kidding about falling off buildings. It's a whole other show called Trauma Rama. But yeah. So what is trauma-informed yoga? You know, all of you are traumatized. Yeah. Yeah. And I scream at you to breathe. And thank you very much. And you pay me for that. So yeah, anyways, or like I like to call chill yoga is eat, pray, and offend. But anyway, so I wish you all peace and chill and keep coming back for yoga, mindfulness, meditation, breathing, follow the channel aware meditation and all of us here. I'm so happy to be on this show and have a great holiday. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Jill, so chill.
Jill. Give it up for Jill So Chill, or putting the trauma back into trauma yoga. That's how you have repeat customers.
Yeah.
I feel that the same thing when it comes to cars, Jill, and the way they have the bucket seats and the neck crunched forward. The idea is it's supposed to protect you. I think no, that was designed by a chiropractor, so you keep coming back.
Yeah. Another thing is a closed audience. They can't escape. It's comedy, it's incarcerated men, women, and kids. I just need someone not to leave me.
That's right. So Jill So Chill from her abandonment issues. Jill, tell us a little bit about where they can find out more about Uprising Yoga.
Uprisingyoga.com and jillsochill.com and yogaforhealingtrauma.com.
There's a lot of .coms there, almost as many as we have with Aware Meditation, but we're very excited that we've now got the .org.
I did. Mine's now a Korean poker place because GoDaddy said I missed an email for after 12 years, 14 years or something.
Right. If somebody wants to buy the .com for the nonprofit, I will sell it to you.
Yes.
It's going that well financially.
Yeah.
We're off of Kajabi and onto Free Bevo email campaign at the moment. You might find an advert for some booze, but there you go. Easy does it. Now, speaking of easy does it, we're going down under where it's sunny there at the moment. They're not, we're pathetic in Los Angeles. It's cold. It's cold. It's a Fahrenheit of 65 degrees. We're going to bring someone who is in Perth in Australia, is a veteran, is featured in the Pain to Punchlines ebook that's coming out, which is endorsed by Margaret Cho. The link will be coming up. Please welcome to the stage the wonderful Micko Gledhill.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's so good to see you all. Yes, I'm from Perth. We're about half a day in front of New York, which means when New York is celebrating New Year's Eve, we're celebrating New Year's Eve hangover. I've just finished swimming training. I live on the beach. I also live with 2 cats. The cats are actually my form of therapy to deal with all the trauma that I've dealt with over the years. Thankfully, I've overfed them, so they're in a post-breakfast coma at the moment, so they won't bother me during this. I'm going to go through a series of different jobs that I used to do. I was in the military for 30 years. Even though I was in there for a long time, I don't like to tell war stories, mainly because I don't really have any. But I'm currently a volunteer surf lifesaver down the beach. So if I rescue you at the summer, you're welcome. If I don't, I'm a volunteer. You get what you pay for. Hey. I used to be a pro surfer.
Yeah.
I used to be a pro surfer back in the day. When I was a teenager, I had a pretty big sponsor. You may know them, Social Security. I've just recently, like a couple of years ago, just survived cancer as well, lymphoma. And to tell you something weird about that, once I finished post chemo, I actually got a contract as an underwear model for Bonds, Australia Bonds. And I got a 3-year contract to wear underpants as a job.
Ooh.
And so if you fly into Sydney, well, the reason is they like the shape of my bum, nothing else. And which is really weird. I actually got bitten on the backside by a shark way back in the 80s. So I'm a shark attack survivor. I'm a member of Bite Club. So Bite Club is for everyone around the world that has been attacked by a shark or even a bear. The first rule of Bite Club is tell everybody you've experienced a shark attack. Hey. Now, I don't know, have any of you guys experienced a shark attack? You don't know what you're missing out on, like a foot. Even though, look, I know this comes across as pretty confronting. A shark attack is pretty full on. And I just want you to know that the shark is okay. All right. The shark survived. And I think it probably got a little bit of a tummy upset. That's about it. I think what had happened was it actually bit me on the backside. And I thought, why would it bite me on the backside? And then I realized that my legs are so skinny, they look like chopsticks. I don't know if anybody's tried to eat chopsticks before. And the weird thing about the shark bite was the shark actually sunk its teeth into my backside and then it let go. And I thought that was pretty weird. And then I realized it was probably because of it probably let go because it tasted all the toxins I was exposed to in the 70s, like benzene, PFAS, and my parents' alcoholism. I'm a big diver as well. I actually got bitten by the shark while I was diving, and I have also experienced the bends diving as well. That was probably the scariest moment of my life out of all the experiences that I've had. I was diving off Indonesia. I was at 100 feet. The water was super clear. And then I had this sensation of feeling overconfident. And then I was pretty sure I saw Nemo as well during that transition. And then I felt like really sick, like I was going to be sick. And then I passed out. And I took it pretty well, because it was pretty like any night I had at a nightclub, really, you know. And the weird thing about that is when I finally got to the surface, the dive boat hit me in the back of the head, just to wrap the whole dive trip up. And I was wondering, I found out later that it was actually from bad air in the air tanks. So if you ever go diving in Indonesia, take your own air. I think they might have just plugged the hoses into the back of their car when they filled my tank up before I went down. But that was actually super scary. And thanks to my pets, they soothed my soul, right? I also spent some time, actually, I'm celebrating this year 30 years as a skydiving instructor.
Yay.
Yeah, and it's probably one of my favorite things to do. It's a great leveler. And it's really weird, because you have a lot of people that they do skydiving for a number of reasons. One is to, you know, some blokes, they want to do it to qualify their manliness, right? And I've had a number of really toxic dudes want to go for a skydive, and they're like, I'm super hard, I'm super tough. And as soon as you open the door of the plane at 10,000 feet, they're like, I'm not jumping, okay? And another thing is, you know, can you please stop bringing your elderly relatives to the job saying to skydive? Because it's coming across pretty obvious what you're doing, right? Some people bring their grandparents to the job zone and they're like, Grandpa wants to go for a skydive. And you look at Grandpa and he's like, no, he doesn't. He looks like he's already been for a skydive without a parachute. And one time I asked this dude, and one time I asked this bloke, he was like 100 not out, right? And I said, how many jumps have you done, old fella? And he goes, 1. And I said, oh, what drop zone was that? And he said, D-Day 1944. Thank you for your service, sir. You don't need to do any more skydives, okay? One of the funny things I like about skydiving is when people use skydiving as a medium for marriage proposals. Like, I mean, as an instructor, it kind of comes across as an ultimatum, right? And one time I was videotaping 2 tandems. Now, has anybody here done a skydive before?
No.
Well, I can tell you it's really loud when you're in free fall. And so I'm filming 2 people doing a tandem side by side, and the guy is yelling at his girlfriend like the marriage proposal. Now, nothing says romance like yelling in your partner's face, like yelling a marriage proposal in her face, right? And she can't hear anything. So I'm watching him. He's like, will you marry me? And she's like, what? Will you marry me? Like, what? And in the end, the tandem master had to slide his hand at the back of her head and make her nod, right? I think it was the very first time I saw an arranged marriage, hey? Unbelievable. So some of the funny places that I've seen people land, we had a guy land in a washing machine that had been left on the side of the drop zone, both feet straight into the tub. I know, what a spin, hey? He got fully rinsed, that guy. But I had an experience where I landed in a paddock full of dairy cattle. And as soon as I wrapped up my parachute, they started running after me. You never seen a guy run so fast, so scared. It was almost like watching the Kentucky Derby, I reckon. And the finish line was a barbed wire fence.
Give it up for Micko here.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank
Micko,
you.
I
Thank
believe
you.
that you won't do anything unless it could kill you.
Yes.
You have some mental health professionals here when you say, would you like to skydive? Anyone skydive? Everyone's like, no, we value our lives.
Yeah.
We'd like to be alive to help others. is what you'll call a living crocodile Dundee for the Americans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Americans are fascinated by Micko's stories and still going strong.
Yeah.
Nearly 60.
Wow. There you go. So your shark attack. Like, did you actually have a big amount taken out of your body?
Yeah. So it was in the 80s, and it drew blood, and it left you could see the shark bite imprint with the teeth and all that. And when I went home, because I was only a teenager at the time, and as soon as I got bitten, I thought straight away, because being a teenager, I thought, oh, now I'm going to get a date finally. This is going to be a great story. Bum, bum. But what happened when I went back to my parents' farm, because I lived on a large property, my dad just poured beer over it. He goes, "You'll be right," So that's how they did first aid back in the 80s.
Oh, I think that's actually only how alcoholics do first aid.
Well, my dad was, yeah. That was his coping mechanism. Just put beer on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you just keep trying to kill yourself, and you keep living like in other ways. Not
The beer solution.
Oh, I'm just doing anything else for a thrill to deal with it. Micko, how can people find you if they need to reach out and enjoy your comedy?
Look, I'm just on Micko Gledhill at Instagram. That's pretty well all I use for that. So I keep a pretty low profile. I'm not overly tech savvy, but I do like to interact with veterans and help them. I am a veterans advocate, a volunteer advocate. So I do help veterans with their claims and stuff like that. So that's a real passion of mine. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. And we do have outreach programs for veterans. We partnered with a nonprofit in America called Can a Vet Live Here? And we did some wellness programs and also helped them with their Laughter for Healing around Veterans Day, which is available for those. I'm also a laughter yoga instructor, which everyone else who doesn't know the validity of it responds by laughing.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to bring you up our next comedian who is also a mental health professional. They are based down in New Zealand, but do travel internationally doing keynote speaking. Please welcome to the stage the wonderful Dr. Jo Prendergast.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi, I'm Jo. Yes, and I'm from Down Under, and I have recently had my 50th birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, the crowd goes mild. Yeah, very recently in the last 6 years. Yeah, and in other news, I've recently beaten cancer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a clear MRI a few weeks ago, so I'm now officially 4 years, no evidence of disease. And I actually wrote most of the jokes that I'm performing today while I was having cancer treatment, because finding the humor in my cancer experience was one of the main things that got me through. In fact, the night I found out I had cancer, I wrote in my journal, maybe I've got a tragic personal story for my next comedy show. So, yeah. Yeah, so this is how comedians think. If we're in an accident before we even hit the ground, we're thinking, I might be able to use this on stage. Yeah, so like when I was lying in the PET scan to check that I didn't have stage 4 cancer, I focused on trying to listen to the music they were playing. It was Christmas carols in June. And I remember thinking that the song Radioactive would have been more appropriate, given that I was radioactive at the time. But, cancer is inherently one of the least funny topics. And I'm sure that most people listening, including you, Micko, have been touched by the tragedy of cancer. So it was a challenge to find the humor in my tumor. And it was my the glee in my grade 3 and the primo in my chemo. Yeah, that one doesn't help. But yeah, cancer was my first time having a serious health condition, and I didn't know the rules of good patient behavior. So the morning after my breast cancer surgery, I did a catwalk down the hospital corridor wearing my surgical gown and a drain bag. I got told off by the charge nurse for that. But on the upside, it did go viral on TikTok. Yep, 530,000 views.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was my biggest life achievement. Follow me at Cancer and Cartwheels on TikTok. Yeah, the catwalk was performed courtesy of morphine and fentanyl. But my cancer was essentially an unwanted squatter. I think it just saw an empty boob and thought, oh, getting into the housing market's a challenge. I'm just going to move in here. Yeah, apparently it was either my boob or a student flat in Dunedin. Yeah, that's a really grotty student town in New Zealand. But I wish that my boob had the same strict entry requirements that New Zealand had during COVID. If Jacinda Ardern was in charge of my boob, this would never have happened. Cancer would still be locked up in a managed isolation hotel. Yeah, but one of the worst things about having breast cancer at the beginning was how judgy the mammogram reporters are. You know, it's bad enough to be told that you have breast cancer, but then they tell you that your boobs are extremely dense. Yeah, I found that quite offensive. I think extremely dense is an insult. It would be much nicer to say that my boobs were density divergent. I wondered, well, what's the opposite of a dense boob? Is it like a light boob or a helium boob? Gee, I think having helium boobs would be fun because if you breastfed, it would make your kid's voice even more high-pitched. Yeah, it would sure make their tantrums entertaining. But seriously, finding out your breast density is really important because having extremely dense breasts can increase your risk of breast cancer and the risk that they can't see your cancer on a mammogram, like what happened with mine. Yeah, I found a lump in my breast and in my armpit only 5 months after a reportedly normal mammogram. So check your boobs, team, including man boobs, and ask your doctor whether you too are extremely dense. Yeah, and I had surgery as the first step in my treatment. So the surgeon took out the lump and then gave me a breast lift. So this nipple now points out at an angle. Yeah, like it doesn't want to make eye contact with the other boob. It's probably embarrassed about its behavior. But with one nipple pointing out at an angle, it's like I've got a lazy eye. People say that boobs are not twins, they're sisters, but after breast cancer surgery, mine are not sisters, they're adopted. Because I've been left with a perky B cup on this side, and on this side, a more age-appropriate semi-flaccid D. Yeah, some of you look like you're trying to visualize that. Actually, a male comedian said that he thought a semi-flaccid D was a dick joke. But with a perky B and a flaccid D, I've essentially got a millennial boob and a boomer boob. So say if I'm watching the TV show Friends, the boomer boob will be laughing like, ha, 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 ha. And the millennial boob will be going, some of these jokes are actually quite problematic. But actually, since I've had a millennial boob, I do a lot more recycling. I don't think that's a coincidence. And part of my surgery, they took out all the lymph nodes in my armpit. So now this arm's got a lifelong risk of blowing up with something called lymphedema, where say this arm size 8, this arm size 28. Call me fussy, but I prefer my arm size to be a bit more matchy. So to prevent lymphedema, my physio's got me wearing this compression sleeve and doing kind of exercises like this. So I figured maybe I could become an air traffic controller, get to do my exercises and help out at the same time. Maybe this is what the Queen had.
Yes.
She had that weird wave. That too soon? But with chemotherapy, it knocked out my ovaries and put me into menopause. Make some noise if you've heard of menopause.
Woo!
Yeah, have you heard? Yeah. For anyone who doesn't, menopause is where your interest in men pauses or stops. It could also be called men are gone, or men are not needed, or buy a rabbit. Not talking about the furry animal. But menopause causes you to have a really faulty body thermostat. And I took my temperature during a hot flush, 39 degrees. She'll get hot, but not as hot as perimenopause. See what I did there? Bit of spicy humor. But I've got a tip for any of you ladies. If you time a hot flush right, you can defrost a frozen chicken for dinner. Yeah, if I remember dinner. Some days all I can retain is fluid around my ankles. But anyway, the sort of take-home message is to check for lumps in your boobs and balls so you can stay matchy.
Yeah.
I've been to Prendergast. Thank you.
All right, everybody give it up for Jo. How wonderful to be sharing your experience of what some people might just feel is the end of the world. And Jo is out there doing cancer and cartwheels, getting into comedy clubs, not only just doing international speaking, breaking some boundaries in New Zealand, talking about her experiences, making people laugh with her one-person show, going up to Edinburgh. So we are behind you, Jo, with what you're doing and speaking about the truth. I had an interesting experience this year going to have a mammogram, and the one side was fine, and the other side, I had to look at the radiologist and say, you know, this one is having a mammogram, not a mastectomy, lady. But it is important to get everything checked. We support you talking about that. How can people find you, Jo?
Yeah, at drjoprendergast.com is my website, and at Dr. Jo Prendergast Comedy on Facebook and Instagram, and Cancer and Cartwheels on TikTok. So yeah, all over the socials.
Yeah, well, we're delighted that you're here sharing your comedy. I have to tell you, though, I feel that helium boobs are just a living part of being in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yep, there's a bit of that.
Now I'm going to bring in our final comedian for the day. Please make sure you stay tuned. And of course, we hope at this point you can write your lovely comments, subscribe, and like. All of these fabulous people who've gone beforehand are part of the Pain to Punchlines ebook or book, maybe by the time you are reading it. And they are supporting the cause of speaking our pain and our truth and helping people with laughter and their mental health. Coming to the stage now from San Diego, I believe, is that correct? Do I get a nod?
Orange County. Unfortunately.
Orange County.
Much worse.
The orange curtain, as we call it. But in the state of California, this individual is a two-time TEDx speaker. Please welcome to the stage, Zara Kahn.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Probably didn't have a choice in that regard, but thank you for having me. My name is Zara Kahn. You are probably looking at my face right now. There have been a lot of people congratulating me on finally getting a nose job. But this isn't a nose job. I was mauled by a wild animal known as Eva baby. And now I'm painfully aware that I need a nose job. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I am getting married. So I'm excited about that.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm Pakistani and my parents have handled everything. And I can't wait to meet my husband. No, I'm not getting married. How many double takes am I gonna do so far? But yeah, I am in my first serious relationship at the age of 37.
Yeah.
And so, thank you. Yeah. People ask me, like, what took you so long? And it's like, well, I'm Muslim. I wasn't allowed to talk to guys growing up. And it took me 19 years to figure out how to say, oh my God, you're so funny. Works like a charm for sure. People are interested, like, okay, Muslim girl having boyfriend is very taboo. Did you tell your parents? It's like, I did tell my parents. I felt like I had to. But I also felt like I had to soften the blow, you know, like just in case they weren't happy with it. And so I decided, like, to tell them, like, arrange a meeting with my parents and say, Mom, Dad, I'm gay. Just kidding. I have a boyfriend. And then see whether it goes. But they were actually pretty happy about it. My mom said she knew. and said, when's the wedding? And I was like, that's not the reaction I was thinking you would have. And my dad's like, oh yeah, this is great. We didn't think you would find anyone. And I'm like, yo, that's not something you want to say. Like, I don't want to know. Like, I would rather be exiled from my family than know that everyone thinks I'm going to die alone. Like, that's wherever I'm kind of struggling with that concept. But, you know, I'm pretty happy because I have a lot of red flags. It's hard to find someone right. The first message I got was, hey, babe, you must be my appendix because I want to take you out. And I was like, oh. What a sweet talker, right? He just compared me to a useless organ.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, you must be my tonsils because I can live without you. I went, hey, babe, is your name Google? Because you've got everything I'm searching for. And I was like, is your name Bing? Because the results you're giving me are just not good enough. And my favorite, hey, babe, are you a terrorist? Because you are the bomb. And I was like, oh, that was a weird thing to say to a Muslim girl. But I decided not to respond in case it was an FBI sting operation. Gotta catch him all. Yeah, a lot of red flags. I'm also mentally ill. Thank you. So I wish I had a cool mental illness though, right? Like ADHD is pretty cool. Everyone's got it. If you don't have it, just keep scrolling. You'll get it. Autism. By show of hands, I will be said, who thinks I have autism? Show of hands. Oh, dang it. That's not enough for me to save $950 on an autism assessment. That's my goal. Yeah, I actually have bipolar, you know, not a cool disorder. I don't want to be bipolar. I want to be bisexual. I don't want to have mood swings. I want to swing both ways.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a psychiatrist. I want to be polyamorous with women, to be specific. Yeah, so Muslim, mentally ill, and I, you know, worked on my recovery, got better, and I became a therapist myself. Thank you. Yeah. My parents aren't quite happy because I used to be an engineer. And so they're trying to get me to get a PhD. You know, the only way to become a doctor, right? And I was like, why would I get a PhD when I'm already a pretty huge disappointment? That's right, Mom. That one's for you. You're not here, but you are in here.
Yeah.
Sorry. It looks like I'm crying. I'm not crying. There's literally something in my eyes. I'm not crying, please. It's not staged. There's something in my eyes. Yeah. Muslim mental health therapists are 3 things you don't want to put on a dating profile. Yeah. And so, you know, some people are worried I'm going to psychoanalyze them. And I'm like, oh, don't worry. I don't work for free. Like people... Like the kicker though is that I actually became a stand-up comedian because 10 years ago my therapist told me I should be a stand-up comedian. And now that I'm a therapist, I know that's terrible advice, right? So it's not really good, you know? And it's like, wait a second. I went to therapy to talk about my depression, loneliness, hopelessness, and not wanting to be alive. And apparently she found this hilarious enough to tell me, oh, you should be a stand-up comedian. And I was like, I'm not funny. And she's like, yes, you are. You are here. And it's like, first of all, that's disturbing. But also, you're supposed to help me with my delusions, not make new ones. Yeah. It's so funny because, like, you know, now I'm a therapist. It's like, I could sue her if I wasn't performing all over the world doing stand-up comedy. Yeah. So if I ever get canceled or lose my followers, we're coming back to the court because she also fired me, which I didn't know until I became a therapist. Because she was like, oh, you know so much. I just feel like there's nothing I could teach you. And she handed me back to my old therapist. We're not moving forward. We're moving backwards. And like, I didn't know until now. That's basically saying like, she was like, oh yeah, it's not you. It's me. But at the end of the day, it's actually me. I am the problem. I'm getting kicked out. I was like, shouldn't I be firing her? I'm the one paying the money. Well, that's okay. You know, I'm a stand-up comedian, so that's all that matters, right? So a lot of people ask me, you know, about AI, right? Because I have both backgrounds, AI therapy. And I'm like, well, AI has a lot of hype because it is only as good as the people who trained it, right? And so there was a lawyer who was disbarred for using ChatGPT because it made up the citations. And so, that's kind of like a red flag, right? It made up the citations when it didn't know what it was talking about. And that's how you know AI was trained by men. Sorry, Micko, but you are laughing the hardest out of this joke, so I think you understand. ChatGPT also gaslights you when it's wrong. And it's like, I was telling ChatGPT, like, here's my hourly, tell me my yearly. And it said $100,000. I'm like, that's not right. And I checked, I was like, yeah, that's not right. It's like, yes, it is. And I was like, no. And it said, well, maybe you should be making more then. And I was like, wow, that was rude. How did that happen? And I was like, oh, wait a second. I'm just texting my mom. So the final thing I do want to say, happy holidays. It's obviously quite lonely for me as a Muslim because no one will accept wrap gifts from me. But the only time my mom is on stage. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Doesn't everyone agree that, oh my gosh, you're so funny?
Yes.
You are funny. I was I went to, I think everyone here has ADHD. I'm just gonna say it. I think it comes with being a comedian. Like, and if you don't know you have it, you raise a child like I did and just go and say, I'll get tested, so you'll get tested. And you come out with a higher Addy prescription than the child. The child then in university gets tested for autism on the spectrum and brings back a test for me. And I'm like, stop. And I take the test, and there's one area that she looks at the results and goes, told you. Told you. And this is why you should not send your children to university.
Yeah.
I was quite happy being ignorant of what I thought I did not have.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everybody here for being part of Paying to Punchlines today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a blast during this last 50 minutes. If you've had a lot of fun, please make sure you go and check out all of these comedians. Zara, where can people find you?
At Mentally Muslim on Instagram or mentallymuslim.com. I do goofy shows like my show, Same Shiite, Different Day, and I also do more serious ones mixed with comedy on resilience and struggle.
Wonderful. And those of you who are wondering how I found this wonderful collection of comedians, it's simply by following the path of finding good people who also want to help the world become a better place and make them laugh. So please check all of them out, follow them, follow on all of their platforms. And I'd like to say thank you so much for being part of Paying to Punchlines this holiday season. We'll see you next time. And please stay well, meditate, and laugh.